hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button. How to become a millionaire from investing into the S&P 500. So this video is to give you your video podcast is to pretty much just break down the benchmark of how can I pick one index fund and invest in it consistently and become a millionaire. How much do I need to put into it, and how long do I need to do it? That's what we're going to talk about on this particular episode. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you're now tuned into the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. As always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely, you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we are going to jump straight into it. So yes, we are live here on Facebook. I need to be live on my Instagram. I need to work my Instagram more. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to first jump straight off into this topic. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to use the future value formula. The future value formula. What is the future value formula? The future value formula takes your present value, which is how much money do you have today. Then it asks you how much are you going to make payments. Like payments is how much money you're going to put in every month. Then you're going to use the interest. The interest is what's the rate of return. And then you're going to have how much time. So you need your time, how long you're going to do it, your interest, how much interest you need present value, and you need how much money you're going to do every month. That's how you're going to calculate future value. Now, a simpler way you can do this, I know I just said a mouthful, but for the people that are catching this live, I'm going to share my screen here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share the screen here, which is going to make it very easy for you. You can just go online and look up a future value calculator right here. This is calculator.net. This is a future values calculator. So right here, you want to know how much time we're going to put in 25 years. Let's say we're going to take 25 years. How much money are you going to start with? Say I have $0 today. What is your rate of return? Interest rate. I'm going to make $8 a year. How much money do you plan on putting in every year at the beginning of every year? You say, hey, I want to put in $12,000 at the beginning of every year. You hit the calculate button. You're going to come up to $1 million. So in this calculation, this is saying that if you put in $25 for 25 years, you started with $0 today for 25 years, and you earn 8%, and you put in $13,200 a year. In 25 years, you will be at $1,042,198, right? So this is what pretty much, and what that breaks down to, and how you can get to this number. You can divide that by 24. That's if your wife put in $550 and your husband put in $550, or your wife, husband, whatever your situation is. If you put in $550 a month, they put in $550 a month. Y'all got 8% return. You did this for 25 years. You would arrive at over $1 million, $1,042,000, right? Now people would ask the question, well, Prince, wow, how can I do this? How can I get 8%? I'm glad you asked. Now what we're going to pull up here, we're going to pull up the annual return. Where can I get that type of money from, Prince? You just told me I can get $1 million if I invested for 25 years and I put $13,000 and my wife put in $500 a month and my husband put in $500 a month. We put that in together. That will bring us at $1,200 a month. That will bring us at $1,100 a month. We did that all every month. That's $13,200 a year. We did that for 25 years. We will be millionaires. Prince, where do I sign up? How can I do this? All right. So the place where you can go get this, let me share my screen again. Let me get back to where I was. You're going to look at, here we go. This is Investopedia. What is the average annual return of the S&P 500 from Investopedia? Right? This will tell you the S&P 500 or the S&P 500 index originally began in 1926 as the composite index and comprised of only 90 stocks. So going back to 1926, this is when it started, almost 100 years. According to the historical returns of the average annual return since its inception from 1926 to 2018 is approximately 10 to 11%. The average annual return adopting 500 stocks in the index in 1950s from 1957 through 2018 is roughly 8%. So they're saying it used to be 10 to 11%, but now it dropped down to 8% ever since they put 500 companies in there. So right here, they're telling you the S&P 500 over the last from 1957 to now, which is about almost 70 years, 60 to 70 years, has returned roughly 8%, right? So they're telling you the S&P 500 index, which is the benchmark of the American stock market, has returned 18%. Here's some key takeaways. The S&P 500 is a benchmark of American stock performance dating back to the 1920s. The index has returned a historic annual average return of around 10% since its inception through 2019. So from on the last 100 years, this index has returned approximately 10%. This index is the top 500 companies in America. They just added Tesla and dropped off some crazy companies. I can't remember what their name were, but so you get 10% a year. Now you know this. Okay, well, Prince, well, how can I sign up for this? What can I do for this? All right. You find an index fund. You find an index fund that is compatible to the S&P 500. So now let me share my screen again. Where are we at? Right here. Here we go. Here's the annual return of the S&P 500. I'm going to make it bigger for y'all to see. This is the average return to the index fund. This is telling you right here. This is going all the way back to 1928. Right here, 1929. It dropped 1928. It went up 37% in 1928. Before they had the Great Depression in 1929, it dropped 11%. Then it dropped another 28%. 47. Then you got to think about it. Then we went into right after World War I, we had World War II come along. Pearl Harbor happened in the 40s. You spent all this time, Vietnam, we had Republicans, Democrats. We was on the gold standard. We went off the gold standard. We had Saddam Hussein. We had to fight Hitler. We went through the Desert Storm, Vietnam, World War II, conflicts, Republicans, Democrats, all of this. So when you date this, all this up and down, up and down, up and down, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that you had more up years than down years. Even we had a pandemic. We had a pandemic just here this year, right? Still going through that. You can look and see after all of these years of up and down, if someone had brought something in 1920 all the way to now, you compounded 10%. Now, if you're very good, you can catch these down years, which most people are very scared during those times. Look at it in 2008. We had what we had in 2008. We had the housing market crash. We had a housing market crash 2008. We had a dot-com bomb in 2000. 1987 was Black Monday. 1929 was Black Tuesday. We was on the gold standard. Nixon took us off the gold standard. All these things, this thing has returned 10%, right? Okay, Prince. Now let's break it down. How can I add this in for myself? Now, one index fund that you can do, I'm not going to sit here and just sell your dream. What screen am I on? I'm on this screen here. We're going to go to Google. And this is one, people who tune into the show, they already know what I'm going to do. But if you haven't, this is your first time, cool. S&P SWPPX Index Fund, right? This is the Charles Schwab Index Fund. So the Charles Schwab Index Fund, let me pull it up here. This is not sponsored by anybody. I'm not bringing this up because somebody said to, all the good stuff like that, putting out that disclaimer. The reason why I chose this index fund, because one, it is the lowest expense ratio. The expense ratio is 0.02. You look at its historical performance. All it does is track the S&P 500. It pays you a 1.72% dividend. So yes, this is how you can invest over and over. Make sure. This is how you can invest over and over, and you can get your money, right? This is how you can invest over and over. I'm making sure my sound in when I hope y'all can hear me the whole time. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me the whole time. So right here, this whole time, you have the index fund SWPPX. You can invest into this thing. This is right here. This is a Charles Schwab S&P 500 index fund. So if you took that, if your wife put in $550 a month, every month you can set up automatic payment. Your wife invested $550 a month, then you invested $550 a month, right? Which is $225 every 2 weeks. If you want to do that, you and your wife did that for 25 years, you would arrive at over $1 million. Don't have to be a rocket science, right? So you don't have to be a rocket science to see that. So when we look at this, we see all these people in the world of investing. Why do we have to do this, right? Why do we do this? The reason why we do this is the benchmark. This is the benchmark of finance. So when everybody's going out there buying Tesla and Apple, which is not a bad thing, and Google or whatever, if you don't know anything about investing, you don't care anything about investing, all you can do is sit back and buy the same thing over and over and over. One index fund, SWPPX. This is not the only one. You have SPY, which is the spider version. Then you also have, let me give y'all other options because I don't believe in one thing is one. You can do SPY. SPY, this is the spider version. It costs $369, but it can get you there as well. You had a Vanguard version, which is VOO, VOO. Now, you look at the expense ratio of these companies, they're higher. That's why I don't like them. VOO will cost you about $339. SPY will cost you $300. SWPPX is $56. That's why I like it, because it's cheaper. I'm getting the same effects. I'm investing to the top 500 companies in America. So the only thing about SWPPX, you have a 90-day hold period. You cannot sell it within 90 days. So right here, you can set back. Let's go back to, did I move my calculator? No, I didn't. So with this calculator, let me share my screen again. Now that we know the S&P 500, it gets about 10% a year when we calculate for inflation. We know that number drops to 8%. So right here, let's say if you're somebody that say, Prince, I don't have $1,300. I can only do $500 a month. Prince, I only can do $225 a month for the year, right? $225 a month times 12 equals $2,700 a month, right? No, I didn't do that right. So let's say you do $250 a month times 12. That's $3,000. Make sure $250 times 12, $3,000. $3,000 a year. So you say, hey, I only could put in $3,000 a year. I put it into the S&P 500 index. I'm earning 8%. How much money would I have in 25 years? You're not going to meet the mark. So the less money you put in, now you got to look at, well, what if I did that for 40 years, right? I'm now 30 years old. I'm looking to do 40 years down the line. You can look at it. It would take you probably about 40, no, it would take you exactly 42 years to become a millionaire, by 43 years to be exact. So right here, if you just brought the S&P 500 index fund, put in $250 a month, it would take you 43 years to become a millionaire if you was continuously get 8% return, right? So this is your benchmark. So while you out there investing, so people are like, hey, you don't have to come in and be a rocket science. I didn't get here and say, you got to buy this, do some crazy portfolio, nothing. No, you just said, hey, you know what? I found an index fund. When I get paid, I automatically buy this one index fund. And you buy that one S&P 500, top 500 companies in America for every year. I mean, every month. And you can use a future value calculator to tell you when you will reach $1 million. Now, Prince, you say this, that sounds good. Why don't people do it? Let's type it in here, my thing here. Why don't people do it? Here we go. It's simple. Why don't people do it? Why don't people do it? It's pretty simple. Time. Who wants to take 20, 30 years? It's not sexy. It's not, I made a bunch of money today, tomorrow, because when you're doing this, you're going to be distracted. You're going to be distracted by day trading. You're going to be distracted by penny stocks. You're going to be distracted by Bitcoin. You're going to be distracted by, I want a new car. I want a new house. This is taking too long. My buddy became a millionaire last year because he did this. This is going too slow. So it's like the what they call that, what's that story when we was a kid, the tortoise and the hare? That's what it's like. It's like the story of the tortoise and the hare. It takes too long. It's boring. It's like watching paint dry. When you're on that path, you're gonna have some ups, you're gonna have some downs, you're gonna have so many distractions. We have a phone. Think about it. We got Instagram, Facebook, Clubhouse, this, right? We got all these things that we know about. We got YouTube, Facebook. We get so much information too. We get too much information and it distracts us from doing what we really want to do. So this is why it is hard to stay committed to do the same thing over and over and over. So as you're an investor, as you're sitting back, while you're sitting back figuring out the next penny stock, this, and this, you have to compare yourself. This is why this is a benchmark. Because what if somebody just brought the index fund over and over and over and over? What would happen? So this is how people can take an index fund, the S&P 500. They can choose something like a SWPPX or a VOO or a SPY, VOOO, or SPY, or SWPPX, buy consistently every paycheck, and they can map out how much time it's going to take them to become a millionaire. And that's simple and easy. Let me see what y'all say in the comments before I get out of here. What's going on, Charles? He says, hello, Merry Christmas. Thanks for tuning in, Charles. This is my guy, Ray. He said, this mess up. Don't like this. That's my guy. He's Big Al says, my guy, Prince of Investments. Anytime. I see Randy and Allen having a whole conversation in my comments. How you doing, Miss Ruby down there in Memphis, Tennessee? I saw your comment about you missed the live Christmas Eve episode. Yes, the Christmas Eve episode went pretty good. Thanks for tuning in. Lucky's mom, how you doing from Jacksonville, Florida? How you doing? Hopefully y'all got something out of this episode, right? Newman TV says, hello, how you doing, Newman? Max B said the dividend at the year, he said the dividend at the year was great. The annual dividend, I think you're talking about, right? You can have that dividend reinvested. Now, yes, the index fund does pay a dividend. We just saw it was 1.72. I didn't calculate that into the return. I didn't calculate for inflation. Now, people are going to be, well, Prince, if you break down real return and take out that, we're not doing all that. We're just keeping it simplistic on this particular episode. So you can have that dividend going strong. Miss Destiny said, we can hear you. Great. Thank you. Newman, do you advise using Robinhood? Me personally, I don't like Robinhood. Robinhood is a good company. So it's a good company. Robinhood got its name because it came out and it was giving out free trades, right? And it was giving out free trades. But now when all the big boys, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, got free trades, all of them have apps. Robinhood doesn't compare. I can get an E-Trade app and get it for free, so I don't like it. You know, me personally, I wouldn't use it. It's not bad, but I wouldn't do it. Kaylin Carter gave me a thumbs up. Kaylin Carter says, what is the best platform to get in index funds? You can do it with any of them. Me personally, I like E-Trade. You can use TD Ameritrade. You can use Charles Schwab. If you have a 401k at your job, every 401k has, if you're in the military and you have a 401k, the TSP fund, this is the C fund that I'm talking about. This is the C fund. You can use your C fund, or if you have a 401k at your job, I'm guaranteeing you they have the S&P 500 there. You can utilize it by doing it at your job. So you can use your job to do it, but if you don't, you want to go look at a broker, you can use TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab. Pretty much all of them will let you buy an ETF or index fund. Lucky's mom said investing in the index fund is easier than figuring out which penny stocks to buy. It is. It is. It's the same exact thing over and over and over and over, right? Michelle Thompson, are you saying you should buy the same stock, or can you buy a certain amount of stock to see gains? Are you saying you should buy the same stock, or can you buy a certain amount of stock to see? Yes. My thing is, when you come down to investing, your benchmark is the S&P 500. You should be buying that one index fund, because that one index fund comprises of 500 different companies. That one index fund has Google, Amazon, Facebook. All these companies are compiled into the S&P 500. So it's not one company. It's a bunch of companies at one, right? When you start to pick stocks, if these stocks are not outperforming the S&P 500, or if your portfolio is not outperforming the S&P 500, you should be joining the S&P 500. That's how I look at it. So should I look into this for my granddaughter custodian account? Yes, I will 100%. I will do another video talking about how to portfolio I would build for a child. You know, I'm going to do a video sharing my son's portfolio, what I did for my son, what I do for my son. And my whole thing, if I'm not beating the S&P 500, I'm going to buy the S&P 500. So if you're coming in, you don't know anything about investing, just get them an index fund and buy it over and over and over and over and over until, you know, they want to get something else, or you find now along the way, can you jump in and get a little Tesla and get a Nike that can outperform the S&P 500? Yes, but a lot of people, 90-something% of investors cannot consistently beat the S&P 500, right? So that would be my thing, all right? So you do your research. We talked about, to go back over this, we looked at the formula, the future value formula. We looked at the annual returns of the S&P 500. We talked about why people don't do this. We even broke down exactly how much money you would need to invest and how often to get to $1 million. If you know the time, you know, hey, Prince, I got 5 years, 10 years. If you know how long it's going to, you know, hey, I'm retiring in 30 years and I need $1 million. Well, you know how much money you need. You know how much time you got. We already told you what the S&P 500, what the annual returns on the S&P 500 can do for you. And you know how much money you can afford to invest every month. You can calculate how much it would take you to become a millionaire. All right. So that's my way. Let's see what you guys and girls are saying. How you doing, Michelle? Bonnie Defense, should I sell my 48 Tesla stocks to invest into the S&P 500? See, when I look at something like this, I can't be like, yeah, no, I don't know. Are you planning on going to college next year? Do you need the cash? Are you looking to be less riskier? I mean, what is the reason? It's so much more I have to know. I have to know before I can give a recommendation. I would have to know your whole picture. You know, why do you want to do this? Are you, hey, I'm looking to invest. I want to become less riskier. If you're looking to become less riskier, I would say yes. And you have 5 or 6, 10-year horizon, I would say probably I would lean towards yes. But since I don't know none of that information, I can't really say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I thank all y'all for tuning in with me, but I got to get running. I got to get out of here. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button if you haven't done so already. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever's crazy you see me do around the globe. Peace, be safe. I'm out. Thank you.